Today we're talking Seeking Sister Wives. Oh, this is going to be such a good season. I mean, every season has been good in its own way, but they've gotten better season to season. This one, this is a doozy. It is. We're going to have fun with it, people. All right, here we go. This is episode 2 of season 5. This episode picks up where the last one left off, and that is that we have Danielle and Garrick talking to Danielle's brother and his wife. So Danielle's talking to her sister-in-law, and Derek is talking to his brother-in-law. And boy, these two did not understand it at all last season when they were going through everything with Roberta. And they expressed their concerns, but in the end, they were kind of like, you know what, it's your own opinion. I think they valued the relationship with the two of them more than expressing their opinions. So I was hoping that this season they would be a little more forthright. And I would say maybe by 2% they are, but that's about it. So Danielle's brother's name is Sam, and he married a Samantha. So Sam and Samantha are the people that are talking to them separately. They're doing yard work or something like that. I don't remember exactly. Garrick is sharing about this new girl that he found that he's going to go visit, that they think they're going to invite to join their family. And Sam is, of course, flabbergasted. And we saw this at the end of the last episode. Bleeding into this episode, Garrick is pleading his case kind of in his calm, matter-of-fact way, that this is just what God wants of us. And Garrick adds, she's very sweet. And Sam says, they're all sweet. Ya idiot! Wake up, Garrick. My goodness. Sam points out that it'd be a really good idea if Garrick got to know this person before actually getting into bed with her. All right, that was good. That was good, Sam. High five. So as they're talking, Sam realizes that this new girl also does not speak English. And yet Garrick thinks he's fallen in love and he wants to go propose. I mean, I can't even wrap my brain around this. Okay. So this girl, this hot girl with the Instagram photos that he found online, shockingly doesn't speak English, but is willing to get married to somebody in America and come on over.
Must be true love.
Amazing. Garrick thinks it's all love and God ordained. I don't know if he's dumb or deceptive or conniving. I don't know. I can't put my finger on it. There's so many things he could be. Maybe all of the above. And Sam says to him, well, this one doesn't speak English either. Wasn't that a problem with the last one? Garrick said, no, she was just deceptive and using us to get money. Garrick, listen to me. How is it that you weren't able to pick up on this? Because there was a language barrier. Because all you could say to each other is, you're so beautiful, you're so pretty, I love you so much, I can't wait to see you. That's it. That was the depth of your relationship. I can't. Garrick is the worst. We switch over to Danielle, who's having this conversation with her sister-in-law, Samantha, and she says, well, you know, we've been talking to her for 4 months now, so we're planning on going over to meet her. And Samantha says, you're up for this? You're in for this? You're okay with this? And Danielle says, well, I'd say I'm not fully ready yet, but she does whatever Garrick tells her to do. Oof, I just want to shake her so hard. I don't know why Samantha won't. Honest to goodness, she's not fully into it. Well, then you don't do it. End of story. That goes for anything in life, but certainly bringing another wife into your relationship. Oh my gosh, I can't even. Okay, let's move on. And can we just point out, it has only been 4 months. For anyone to get married in 4 months' time, is kind of shocking. Usually it's a lot longer. And these are when people see each other all the time and speak the same language. This is insane. Garrick is now sharing with Sam that this new girl, Natalia, has graduated from law school. Because Sam said, does this one have a job? And he said, well, she graduated from law school. He goes, okay, does this one have a job? And Garrick says, no, she's not employed, but I think she's applying places. I'm not sure. Has she applied places? Really? Has she graduated from law school? Really? I don't know. We'll talk about that a little bit later. So Sam asks Garrick, has she asked you for any money? Because this was a big thing back with Roberta. She was asking for money for this and money for that, money for this, money for tickets on planes she would never come to America on. Oh, now she needed extra money for a visa and extra money for a lawyer for the visa. She needed money for her mom to get her settled when she left the country. I mean, she milked them. Thousands of dollars. I can't even remember. They mentioned it in last season. I want to say like 40 grand or something. It was crazy. So, of course, Sam says, has she asked you for any money? And Garrick says, no, she hasn't. And then he said, are you paying for them to go to Mexico? Because this is where they're rendezvousing. Because apparently it's hard to go from Brazil to America, but it's easier, I guess, within the other countries down in Mexico and other parts of Central and South America. Maybe it's easier to get around. So it's easy to get over to Mexico. So they're planning on meeting in Mexico. Sam said, did you pay for her ticket? And her mom was coming too. And her mom's ticket? Garrick says, yeah.
Sucker.
Sam says, then you're already giving him money, bud. He is. Back to Danielle and Samantha. And Samantha says, well, you're definitely going to get to know her before you. And Danielle says, propose? And Samantha stops in her tracks and says, why? Is he thinking of proposing? And Danielle says, yes. And she giggles. I can't. I want somebody to just like lasso her, pull her away, kidnap her, de-brainwash her. Her husband, she will do whatever he says.
No, thank you, Mick.
Danielle says she hopes the trip works out because she knows that Garrick is already feeling love for Natalia.
Did you just say love? It just keeps getting worse.
Impossible. Lust. Pure lust. He is not feeling in love with somebody he met 4 months ago who doesn't speak his language. No. I love that Sam looks at Garrick and says, if you hurt my sister again, I'm going to have to bury you. Garrick has the nerve to say, oh, I didn't hurt her. Let me count the ways, Derek. Let me count the ways. Sam looks at Garrick and says, you're looking for these ladies. And you know what? Garrick doesn't deny it. So, in this sister-wife situation, it is not Danielle that is seeking out the sister wives. It is not they who are seeking out sister wives. It is Garrick, who then shares it with Danielle. Which is very clear because Danielle thinks it's way too soon to be getting back into a relationship. But they're pushing forward. So obviously, Danielle wasn't looking for somebody. Derek the creep was looking for somebody. We cut over to Sherwood, Massachusetts, where we have the couple Ashley and Shane, I believe their name is, and Ashley's been going on numerous dates with this other girl named Grace to see if she's a good fit in the relationship, but hasn't brought her to meet Shane, even though she's been on like 5 dates with her, which is very fishy, and I don't know how they found her to begin with. They both claim they're into the idea of polygamy, but as a reminder, she is like about 8 months pregnant and has another toddler at home. And she's bisexual, so she is looking for somebody for her too. It's a little bit clearer this episode. And I thought, how is Shane putting up with this, that it's been 5 dates since Ashley has been with Grace and still hasn't introduced her? Well, we realize in this episode that it was Grace who didn't want to meet Sean. Grace was basically enjoying her time with Ashley, and I guess she thought maybe she would just get Ashley to leave Shane. I don't know. I'm not sure. Maybe Grace just wanted to get on television. I don't know. But it didn't end up working out that well for her. Let's talk about it. Oh, I know how they first met. Grace was the hair and makeup artist for Ashley and Shane's wedding. That's where they first met. Now, obviously, I shouldn't say obviously, assuming they got married before they had any kids, it's been at least 2 years. So what made them go back and approach her, that I don't know. And they didn't go into those details. Shane's first impression, because in this episode, he finally gets to meet Ashley. They go to some restaurant. His first impression of her is she's a pretty girl. So they're sitting there eating. Grace basically isn't asking Shane about anything. She feels very awkward. It's making Shane very awkward. Ashley's saying nothing. She's not helping the situation whatsoever. So I don't remember whose idea it was, but they decided to share what was your first kiss. And Shane and Ashley had in common that they were both in 6th grade when they had their first kiss. And then Ashley goes on to share that it was with a girl. So that's kind of young for your first kiss. Like, I think she is leaning more towards girls than she is boys. According to her, in her talking head, she started off liking girls, and then she dated exclusively boys, and now she's open to the universe or something. I don't know. I can't with some of these characters. She's one that I can't with. I don't think she's going to be around very long, and I'll be grateful for that.
Let's hope not.
She said that, I don't know how they connected with this couple in particular, but she had been doing research recently on ethical non-monogamy and decided, why the hell not? End quote. Ethical I don't even know what that means. I get non-monogamy. You can sleep around with other people. What makes it ethical? What about that makes it ethical? Because you just decide it? Because everyone agrees, so now it's ethically okay? I don't know. I really don't know. Term I've never heard of before. And I didn't bother to look it up because I don't care. Okay. So she said, why the hell not? I should give it a try and we'll see what happens. She's so flippant about love and relationships that it really bothered me. She sees no sanctity or commitment in it. It's just like a fun thing to do. I don't know. She's messed up too. I don't know if she realizes that she's going into a relationship with 2 people who are committed to each other to the point of getting married and have 2 children. They're not going to let just some woman come flying in and out of their relationship, in and out of their kids' lives. What is she thinking? I mean, I hope they're not. I guess let's keep watching and see. In a talking head, we hear more of Grace's perspective, and this is what she says. I wrote here that Grace's understanding is that this is going to be a relationship with Ashley, and she needs to learn to get along with Shane. So this is not polygamy. This is 2 people that are married and the wife has a side piece. This is not polygamy. It doesn't seem like she's coming in as a wife. Okay, let's continue. It gets crazier.
How is that possible?
It gets crazier because Shane says, and what do you do for a living? Oh, this is golden. This is golden. Prepare yourselves. All right, I wrote, listen to this BS word salad of no meaning. She says, quote, I had to write it word for word. I am a coach in the personal development field, and I help other spiritual entrepreneurs. I'm very spiritual. Learn how to cultivate peace internally in their lives.
What a load of crap!
I help entrepreneurs remove the blocks and belief systems that are holding them back from achieving a truly fulfilling life.
And I help other spiritual entrepreneurs, I'm very spiritual, learn to cultivate peace internally in their lives.
That means nothing. That means nothing. It's like one of those new agey things where they just take a bunch of buzzwords and stick them all together. And I'm in touch with the reality of the things that embrace me in this world. Okay. Shane says, "Can you explain?" Thank you, Shane. We're all thinking the same thing. Oh, she says, like, I communicate with the universe. And it's called channeling. Shane looks confused at this point. Justifiably confused face on Shane. He's like, you channel the universe. Gotcha. And that's paying the bills. How? This is what I want to know. Let's go on. Shane is polite and he says, okay, that's interesting. And Grace says, I was interested to see how you would react to this, which is why I like taking things slow. In the most judgy tone. Ooh, I don't like her. Shane says, I'm listening. And Ashley goes, it sounds like you don't believe it, though. Yeah, no, none of us do, Ashley. You're the only one that believes it. And push came to shove, lie detector. I don't even know if you're believing it, but it's your platform that you're standing on, by all means. I wrote in my notes, you do you, boo, but I'm not buying what you're selling. Yep, I still feel that way. I also have a note here. This is a side note. It's kind of judgy. So I tend not to be too judgy. Or do I? I don't know. But she is vegan, gluten-free, and something else. Was it dairy-free? I can't remember. There were 3 things she was, and she was trying to get a salad. There was nothing on the menu that she liked, so she just told the waitress, can you make me a salad that's gluten-free, vegan, and something else? Although vegan would be dairy-free. So there's another thing that was in there. I didn't write it down. But I thought, well, clearly she's doing all of these just because, or because she loves animals and doesn't understand the circle of life. Because you take one look at her, and she doesn't look like a picture of physically fit and healthy people. It's kind of like those people who are vegan, but they just eat a package of Oreo cookies every day because the package says it's vegan, you know? I think she's one of those, in my opinion. My channel, my opinion, that's it. You can agree or disagree. So earlier she pointed out, and did I even write this down? She used the word that she was a therapist for like the universe or something like that. And Shane was just kind of nodding like, all right. And she goes, have you ever been to a therapist? And he said, no, I haven't. And she goes, it shows. She's so mean. She's the worst.
So you understand what therapy is, yeah?
Yeah,
Okay.
but that's like talking to somebody and then they basically fixing your problems.
No, therapy.
Well, you fix your problems.
I'm sorry,
They
have you
just-
been
they
to a
mediate.
therapist before?
Have not.
Okay, that shows.
In the talking head, Shane's opinion of Grace is she's full of herself. It's awkward, and Ashley agrees with Shane, but she feels like she should stand by both people, so she remains silent. No, Ashley, you don't need to stand by both people. This is some chick that you've dated 5 times. He's the husband you've been married to for years and you have 2 children with. You don't need to stand by both. You can make a choice. Take a stand. Not liking Ashley either. I'm not liking much of anybody on the show, am I? Now we go back to Colorado, but this time we're going to the Davis family. This is Nick and those 3 wives that he has. And then he has the 1 baby too with Jennifer. Jennifer comes home from work and they have a discussion about Danielle, the newest wife, who last season, she's been there. I think they said she's been there for 2 years. We just saw her last season. So I don't know the exact timing, but Danielle made the comment, it's only been 2 years. I'm not ready to bring in another wife. You know, we just have the baby and, you know, I don't know. The baby is about a year old and she was pregnant last episode. Anyway, I don't know. Some of it's not matching up, but surprise, it's TLC. Timelines aren't going to match up. They'll have talking head interviews recorded years after the actual episode. So at this point, I think she's been in the family for about a year. I think a year after this was recorded is when she actually did the talking head. So she said it's been 2 years. Okay, it's been one, as far as we know, that she's been in the family. She thinks it's too soon for a new wife. Nick and Jennifer are talking about it. They're very concerned about it. Jen says, is Danielle even cut out for this lifestyle? I mean, she did marry 2 other women and a man, with one of the women being pregnant with the man's baby. I mean, but she's young. She's in her early 20s. Who knows what she really understands, if she's cut out for the lifestyle or not. It seems like she's very happy, actually, with how things are right now. But she's opposed to the idea of bringing in more people, which is what they want to do. That's it. And then we go back to our favorites, Garrick and Danielle. Sam said that he's thinking that maybe Garrick needs to take more time to get to know the character of this Natalia before he jumps into a proposal or an intimacy. Garrick is quiet. He didn't like that idea. He is ready to go humping her down in Mexico, and he can't wait to get there. He's not going to let anyone hold him back. I did notice, this is a complete side note, it doesn't have anything to do with anything, but it really bothers me when I watch like all of these. I actually stopped watching a whole bunch of them, but the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, you will see Kyle and Mauricio and all the kids always wearing the agency. That's the name of it. I was going to say, I don't even know. Okay, advertising doesn't do. Like I'm ever going to use the agency to get it. I mean, but they advertise every time they're on camera. They're wearing shirts and hats that say the agency. Well, the Merrifields must watch Real Housewives of Beverly Hills because Danielle is wearing like a zipper workout top with the Merrifields and then custom homes underneath it. And he has a Merrifields hat and he has a Merrifields button-up shirt with embroidered the Merrifields custom home builders. I don't know who would watch the show and see how insane he is and think, yeah, that's who I want to have the responsibility to build my house. Oh my goodness. So in a talking head, we have Danielle saying, we want to make sure that we wait the appropriate amount of time. And then Garrick says, but if God tells you to do something, you just do it. First, we have the blasphemy in the last episode. And if you didn't see episode 1, you have to go watch it. Blasphemy. And I didn't even comment on it. I was so outraged at the time that I stopped and video clipped it because I knew I was going to insert it, but I didn't have it in my notes. So when I was recording the video, I'd forgotten that I had made that recording and I didn't have reference of it in my notes. So I'm like, I just had to put some title screens in there to let everybody know. Like, I couldn't leave this out. It was the worst thing I think I've ever heard on television. If you didn't see it, and you definitely want to go back and watch that, you look at my review. It was basically the most blasphemous thing I ever heard, where he completely misrepresented scriptures by assigning sexuality to the Holy Spirit. And when the Holy Spirit enters you, it's a sexual thing. I'll leave it at that.
Really up. Oh, wow. Oh, wow.
I can't even. Even repeating it makes me feel dirty. Forgive me. Now he's saying God told him to do this. That he should meet some hot young girl in Brazil and then go take her and her mom over to Mexico to have relations with her and then propose. Actually propose first, because I do believe that they believe you should at least be engaged to somebody before you have relations. That's why he wants to propose. I'm almost positive of it. It's coming back last season. And if that's true, that he believes God's been guiding him, he's saying that God made a mistake with Roberta, right? God must have screwed up because he kept saying that with Roberta too. God's directing us. There's no way God would put somebody in your path who was just going to rob you of all your money and break your hearts. Okay, I think I went on a bit of a rant here. I was so angry when he was saying this stuff. now saying that God told you to do this. God does not lead us into fear, confusion, jealousy, or pain. Not my God. Not the God of the Bible, which is apparently the God that he serves as well. Complete misrepresentation. He's such a manipulator. It's the worst. He's the worst. Out of all of them on the show, he's the worst. I wrote here, you're not listening to God speaking, you're listening to your loins speaking. Oh, how he'll justify getting a piece of A. We do have Danielle sitting next to him saying, my gut is telling me that we should wait to propose and that this trip is too soon. Garrick doesn't agree. Are we surprised? We cut to Nyla and Naeem now. They're still sitting and having the conversation with Naeem's mom at the table. And at this point, Nyla was trying to explain, I definitely see the benefits in this for us. She adds that Naeem has got so much love to go around that this would be okay for him. And his mom says, get a dog. And she adds, or a cat. Buy a farm. My goodness, I love her. I love his mom. So this is when they share they actually have a person that they're interested in courting. And they share that this person lives in Georgia. And the mom's like, excuse me? And she goes, well, how did you meet her? And one of the two of them says, online. And she goes, oh, Lord. And she goes, I don't want to hear no more. I just wrote a big heart here and I wrote, I love mama. Oh my goodness. She's not having it. Garrick and Danielle need to have a Naeem's mom in their life. Telling them like it is. Okay. We go back to Ashley and Shane now. At this point, Grace has said goodbye and given a hug to them and left. And Shane was just like, that was weird. He said, I don't think that I can get on board with that. Like, she's just so out there. Ashley agrees that she didn't like the side of Grace that she saw there that night. She said that Grace was disrespectful to Shane. And she was surprised because she hasn't seen a disrespectful side of her before. It's bonkers that she thinks she's a therapist. Ashley agrees this whole thing was a train wreck. Shane just says, listen, she's a no for me. And Ashley says, I'll take that into consideration. Consideration? He said it's a no for him. If you're going to take it into consideration and go for it, that's the end of your marriage. What's she saying? This ought to be interesting. We go back to Garrick and Danielle. Lots of them in this episode because they're the craziest, right? They make for good TV. At this point, they're packing to go to Mexico. They're getting all their stuff together. They're getting it in the car. Their two boys are helping them. At first, I started writing, I'm like, oh, they're having their boys help them pack their stuff in the car. How crazy is that? No, it's crazier. The boys are going with them to Mexico. They're going to meet Natalia, too, to see if it's a good fit for the whole family. They've known this girl for they haven't even known the girl. They met the girl online and used Google Translate to communicate for 4 months. And they're taking their children with them to meet her to see if it's a good match. I can't even. This is insane.
It all just keeps getting crazier and crazier.
They're going to Cancun as opposed to Cabo because they met Roberta in Cabo. And Natalia is the one that thought it would be weird to go back to Cabo. Not Garrick or Danielle. Natalia seems more mature than they are.
We decided to go to Cancun because Natalia thought it was weird if we went back to Cabo, where we would spend time with Roberta, and I understood that. That could be a little awkward.
So she said, let's go to Cancun. So they went to Cancun. In the talking heads and in the interviews, we keep having Danielle expressing concerns about this and it being too soon and not being sure. And Garrick dismisses her every single time.
What if Garrick likes her and I don't? What if we're not ready for this? I think that's coming at me a lot.
Well, I think you are scared because it's like, well, what if it doesn't work out? Because there's always that possibility, but that doesn't mean you still shouldn't do something.
What if it's too soon?
It's still a blessing no matter what, you know.
According to Danielle, Jeremiah and Solomon, their two sons, were disheartened after losing Roberta because they were close. Really? I think they met her once, and then things shut down with COVID. That part broke my heart the most because we're really manipulating and really affecting these kids when it comes to this situation. They should not be going after 4 months to meet this chick. That's not going to work out. Let's face it, it's not going to work out. This is like rinse and repeat. Exact same thing that happened with Roberta.
This is insane!
So they get to Mexico. They all settle in their room. 5:45 in the morning, the producers get a phone call from Garrick and Danielle asking them to come down to their room. Apparently, some airport officials are not permitting them to get onto the plane to come to Mexico. Danielle just keeps saying, I don't understand it. And then she says, I don't understand. They're saying she needs a visa to get on, but I don't know why. Because apparently you didn't need a visa to go between Mexico and Brazil in the past. So Garrick is trying to explain the problem to producers and trying to figure it out too. And he's on the phone talking to her with another phone to translate it. It's just insane. 5:45 in the morning.
Letting her get on the plane. So.
Yeah, I don't understand it.
I don't know what to say. Yeah. I mean, they're saying she needs a visa to get on the plane. I don't know.
And they're trying to figure out why they can't get on this plane. And Garrick is crying. Oh my word. That put me over the edge.
We're trying to figure things out, Mom.
And I'm thinking, if this is true, he's saying something to the effect of rules are changing and things are getting tighter. They now need visas to get to Mexico. If this is true, how did nobody look into this before? This chick is supposed to be a lawyer. She didn't know? Garrick didn't look into it ahead of time, make sure everything was the same? He said he's looking into everything on the Mexico side, and everything he finds and reads says it's okay. So it must be a problem with Brazil not letting her out. Can't figure it out. And then the best part, the producer says to them, 2 of our people have just tried to get onto a plane in Brazil and successfully made it in the past 10 minutes.
Well, so 2 of our people have tried successfully and made it work in the past 10 minutes.
So why is it
I don't know.
So how did they have people in Brazil already? Maybe they were going to follow her all the way here? I don't know. Or they have to have people that they know in Brazil without visas. They have to be Brazilian residents without visas to be the same situation. I don't know. All I know is they said, we just had 2 of our people got on a plane in the past 10 minutes. And they made it.
Yeah.
She wants to say something.
Oh.
And then in the Google Translate, there's some BS about Brazilians are paying people to get advanced software to issue visas fast. But they don't have that kind of money to do that. So they're not going to be able to get a visa in enough time to get over to Mexico. Translate, wire us some money. And then we can get a fast visa and get over there and meet you. Oh, this whole thing's such a racket. And then she says, I'm going to try to figure stuff out here. I don't know. I'll call you back in 20 minutes. And they hang up the phone. I'm thinking, she's a lawyer? Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think Garrick looked into that. Then the next time, right before she got off the phone, I have written here, I forgot about this. She said they were trying to get on the plane again, but there's an error in the system. So all of a sudden, it's not about you need a visa. Now it's there's an error in the system.
Yes, Danny, I tried before talking to you, and it appears that the request was not processed. Is an error system. No.
Oh, she can't get back on. She tried again.
It's an error in your brain. She claims it's probably a problem with Mexico. But this is, of course, right after Garrick and Danielle said they looked into everything and everything is fine on the Mexico side. So, oh, how many red flags do these people need? I hope the boys can at least enjoy their Cancun vacation. And then the show's about to end, but we go to Nick. And there's some words on the screen that says, right before shooting, Nick calls the producers to let them know Danielle moved out and she got her own apartment. The new wife. There was no notice. She just moved out. So then they show Jennifer and April and Nick all sitting on a couch in the living room, and Jennifer and April are crying as Nick is explaining to them how she just up and left, how she came home and he was taking a nap on the bed with the baby, Vera, I think her name is, and he heard a bunch of commotion and the baby was asleep, and he came down and he saw that all the plants on the windowsill were gone. And then he saw Danielle in the other room because he kept hearing the door open and close. And he's like, Danielle, what happened to all your plants? And then she said, I got an apartment. I'm moving out. I can't do this anymore right now. I need time. Jennifer and April just say, I hope she knows she's welcome back. And one of them says, in this situation, William and Vera are both losing a mom by Danielle leaving. I don't know who William is. I can't remember if last season Nick had another child with another wife before he started the polygamous relationship. I don't think either of them had another child, so I would think it's Nick's other child that they just don't, doesn't have permission to be on the show. But if you know any more about that, write it down below. I didn't do research. I just have it in my notes and I'm just remembering it as I'm reading it, but I found that interesting. I don't know, but man, so much has happened already. 2 episodes, and it is juicier than the entire all last season. If it continues like this, it's going to be amazing. This is way better than Vanderpump Rules. It's about as good as Traitors, though. If you haven't watched Traitors, it's pretty good. I don't know. It might be better because this is real life. Crazy. And then it goes on to say that next week we're going to meet the Ryans. So I said last week we were going to meet a new couple because they kind of showed coming soon, and they showed people who I hadn't seen before. So I'm like, oh, there's another family. And in the end of this episode, they said next week we will meet the Ryans. So don't know about the Ryans, but we'll meet them next week. This was good. Yeah? Yeah, this was juicy. Juicy.
So good. It is so good.
I love it. Let me know what you think about everybody. Let me know if I'm completely off base. Maybe you like some people I don't like. Maybe you think I'm too judgmental when it comes to Ashley or somebody, or maybe too judgmental about Grace. I don't know. I mean, I'm not going to change my opinion, but I welcome yours. And I really love it when you all agree with me. That's my favorite. All right, that's all I have for this week. Next week, I'll be back with it again, and hopefully sooner. It won't take as long to get it out. All right. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet. Watch some of the other stuff that I've reviewed on. And if you have any interest in Sister Wives, go over to Senior Perspective. The link is in the description. And watch a whole bunch of stuff that I have on Sister Wives. All right, that's all. Take care. Bye, everybody.
That was awesome!